Hey, I want to welcome our viewers to a podcast that's really starting with our golfing community and understanding how to shoot your age. Because, hole in one is probably the high of people's career, but some people don't often get that. But you can always have an opportunity to shoot your age. But there's one little factor that goes into that. The longer you live, the better your chances of shooting your age. And our guest is going to be with us over a period of time to help you understand the strategies that will help you shoot your age in golf. So, Francisco, I want to welcome you to the show. Thanks for being here. Please introduce yourself, like who you are, what you do, and who you serve, so our viewers will understand who they're listening to.
Yeah, thank you, Pete, for having me. I work as I earned my PhD in exercise physiology, and I applied to sport nutrition and all those things when I was younger. But then I started applying those same strategies and that knowledge into more clinical settings, and I've been more than almost 2 decades now dedicated to help people with exercise, nutrition, supplements, lifestyle medicine, if you will. Mm-hmm. And currently I'm serving a big population in Partner ND, that's the clinic that I work, mm-hmm. and some additional consulting clients that I do in New York via, online, and some other consulting projects that I have outside. But yeah, this is my passion, like to come up with ideas on how to prolong our functional years, right?
Yes.
Instead of just living long in decent shape.
That's a subject that's dear to my heart. I know the first time we met, we were talking and you were suggesting things that would help me understand more about, the exercise and the nutritional piece of my life. And so one of the guys that you recommend, Dr. Peter Attias, I've just dove into him. I probably listened to hours, like hundreds of hours, and I got his book like you had recommended. So share with our viewers, why did you get into what you're doing? Like, what was the driving force?
Yeah. So when I was actually finishing my PhD, my father got quite sick with a cancer, right? And I wasn't ready for that, all this knowledge, all these nerdy journeys that I was going in my head, and I wasn't equipped for that. So I pivot and put everything on hold and dive deep in knowledge about clinical nutrition, therapies, whatever. So while he was doing his oncologic treatment, I was supporting that with what I was learning at the speed of light, right?
Right.
And when everything was successful, then I make a decision, like I really want to pivot completely my focus, and that was the beginning. And I studied, got certified with people that are some of the authors of the books and articles that I read, and that was the main one. And then I got in love with seeing the changes, because it's very appealing to work with professionals, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. They're dedicated, and then you see the maximum expression of performance. And for example, in golf, I would pay money actually to work with the biggest one just to learn. Mm-hmm. But there's something to be said about someone that thought that there's barely room for just maintaining, and then they start seeing their greatness.
I was listening to Dr. Peter Attias this morning, and the guy that was interviewing him had talked about like the current state of the healthcare system, and he said something that was really, I love the guy. He's just mm-hmm. he has a way of communicating the complicated simple, and I'm a pretty simple person. But he said this, he goes, how are we going to tackle the healthcare like dilemma of today, where they really focus on matrix of just living longer, okay, but if you can't live longer with the quality of life, like if you're living longer and you're aching and you're in pain, that's not what we want, I think, most people. So he said that the responsibility goes to the individual. So it's up to us to learn from people to not only extend the life, which we do a pretty good job at. We've doubled our lifespan over a period of, 100 years, but the quality of that is important. So what would you say, like, just generally, because we're going to get into more specifics in later podcasts, what would a golfer like? What's your knowledge as far as the quality of life? What would you say to our golfing community that you could share, that you're going to be sharing over a series of podcasts?
And in some sort of order, right? But don't quote me exactly on the order, but I'm thinking that being curious, keeping your mind curious and open is the attitude that you should start with, right? Like you, for example, right? You want to learn and try to understand what you can do. So with that, you will start the trigger, because you will read the books, you will listen to the podcast, you will go to the clinics, and you will seek the information. And now you have to understand your lifestyle program will have the king, which is sleep health. And we will talk about sleep health, right? If you don't sleep, everything starts falling apart sooner or later. It's true that it becomes more difficult with age. So sleep, then you have the big department of nutrition that we put there, like the different dietary approaches, the different strategies, supplements that you can use for different various goals. And then in the department of physical activity and exercise, you have what you do in your day-to-day and what you actually do at the gym. And then I want you to imagine that triage or that triangle, you wrap it up with a layer that we're going to call it stress management, right? And we all know that if you get stressed, you either oversleep, hypersomnia, people that are depressed, stressed out, or you don't sleep at all, or you exercise compulsively, or you get injured because you don't sleep, or you eat out of your program because your brain is in emergency mode. So those areas are important, and it's to understand, to seek information for your cardiometabolic health and your brain health. Those are two big areas that will take your physical health, like when we call physical, we think about muscles, but you cannot go to a gym and get the best out of the gym if you are not in the right mindset, and if your brain doesn't fire properly, and if you don't remember repetition, and if you are not focused or paying attention. So brain health will govern that. And then you cannot go and lift those weights or go jogging or do whatever, or do drills of golf if your metabolic health is not there, and you are like brain fog, you are like excessively chubby, you get super tired, cardiovascular, you ache, you have a lot of inflammation. So we will go in more granular through the series of podcasts, because this can go, as you know, to the cellular level, genetics, if you will. But it's to understand that when you see the golf course and then you see yourself in the mirror and you are 50 years old, or you're about to retire or something, or early retirement because you did things great, think of yourself as a professional, believe it or not. Professional, they have a psychologist, they have a nutritionist, they have a drive guy, they have a massage guy, they have a what do you call it, like a lifting trainer, they have a card, they have everything. They even have an agent, right, that go for so you think yourself at the start, as you say, you're actually responsible, but actually give yourself grace to say, okay, I'm going to shine now. I'm gonna put my energy, my priorities. It's gonna be like, I can hang out with friends, because having the connection is one of the most important things also for health. We will talk about that too, mental health. But people don't respect that area as, hey, it's about the connection, not necessarily what you do with your connection. Very explicit. Golf is a very social sport that there's this conversation. I mean, it's two of you playing, but there's a lot. There's the club, there's the people, the collective, and there's a good community. If you go and always grab the wrong food, drink excess, all these things, you are using that time of connection to jeopardize your golf. And it's not that you're not going to go and not enjoy it, but you need to find your line. of action. And that's when coaches, that's when your metabolic health, that's when your blood tests tell you, hey, I think that you should go to golf, but you should stay away of the bread for a little bit because you're becoming pre-diabetic, for example. And it's not worth it to keep going that path because you're shortening your enjoyment of the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so important. That I know the first time I met you, it was a basic asking questions of my understanding and what my goals were. And what do you see is like a challenge, since you see people on a regular basis and they sit down you for the first time? What challenges do you feel you see within your work that maybe you could share with our viewers?
Okay. There's three. One, they are almost checked out because they think that they're old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true. So mindset, brain, right? Second, their physical activity, because of the first one, because they think they're old, they have giving up the idea of truly pushing their fitness. And they just become very complacent in a level of activity that I need to chime in and explain it like, listen, this is not the activity that the scientists talk about longevity and health. You actually need to work harder and smarter, both. You need to actually put the strength to a level that is serious. So you are stronger than your golf needs. So your golf become easy. So brain, the physical activity, and definitely the cardiometabolic health, because they assume that because they're old or aging, that they cannot be in significantly better shape. And so that deteriorate the way they think, the brain function, the joints, inflammation. So that triangle, mind, physical body in terms of strength, sport, fitness, and the cardiometabolic health. Those are the three things that almost always show up in people past 50 years old.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I mean, I think I like the whole idea that it's a comprehensive approach. Like, it's just not nutrition. It's just not exercise. It's just not your brain, but you're incorporating all of them in a comprehensive strategy. So like on a daily basis at Partner MD, like what's your typical age of people that are coming?
It's actually that range. I get excited when I see people under 30 or early 30 because they're creating the best baseline ever, right? So you are under 40 and you are listening to this, you are lucky. And please take notes and take action, right? But it's about late 40s, a lot of people in their 50s, figuring out like, hey, 1 second, I'm approaching to 60. I really want to approach 60. What should I do in a good way? And then you have the 60, but it's between 45 and 65. I have some 80s and people too that are impressive, but 45, 65 to 70, that's a good age there.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because just this morning when I was listening to Peter at TS, he said like the one kind of myth is like your 20s, 30s, and 40s, you can do anything, and you can to a certain extent because your body can respond differently. But he said the earlier you take your body seriously, like just not consuming whatever you want to consume, no exercise, just forgetting about the mind part, the better. And he said you basically set yourself up because your baseline is earlier in life, not wait until 70 when everything is starting to go south. So that's cool to hear the second time today that whole thing. So what would you say, like, I know, we've talked about golf and we've talked about my overall strategy. So like, if I had to pick one of those three, mindset, nutrition, or exercise, what would you prioritize? Is there a one?
That's a loaded question. That's a question.
Just three at a time?
It sounds that is the easy answer, but the easy answer sound very open and very, I don't want to commit, but the real answer, it depends on the person, because
Okay. Okay.
but I'm gonna go a little bit more meat in the game. Exercise put everything in motion. Your metabolism get activated, your cardiovascular system get activated, your brain get activated. So it's kind of like the pill that does all. But I fear saying this because there's some people that think that they can exercise their way out of a bad diet. So priorities: exercise, diet. If you don't have any condition, if you're like very healthy or whatever, but the minute that you have anything going on is diet and exercise. And that third one is the mindset. I say third one, not because it's not important, it's because it gets taken care of a lot if you do the other two.
Okay. No, that makes
a lot
sense.
of people. There's a lot of people reading books of good habits, atomic habits. There's a great book recently, whatever, The Power of Habit, all this vision. There's great podcasts out there that give you an amazing mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? You get tired of reading because you don't have energy, attention, because you have a metabolic health that is not there. You checked out because when you get all that mindset, your body doesn't go with you, doesn't respond, or because you ache, or because you're not sleeping well, because you sleep apnea, because you have too much overweight. All these things go on. So you have that mindset, but you're taking care of that. But it doesn't connect in a body that is not there. But when you do exercise and nutrition, the chemical response of those interventions, listen, we have the neck to connect the body to the mind, right?
Yes.
So when you're doing all those things, that impact the way you think, your motivation, your clarity, your attention, your capacity to process information, to retrieve information, to be alert. So yeah, exercise, diet, or diet and exercise, depending on you have any condition, and breath.
That makes all the sense in the world because of just how you frame that and help our viewers understand. Because I'm a big thing on priorities. So, I always try to think like, what is my priority for the day? Whatever. Back to you personally, like, we've had dinner a couple of times. We've shared ideas. I've been over to Partner MD quite a few times.
Yep.
What for our viewers, what brought you down to Atlanta from New York City? I mean, you're in the hub of New York City. I mean,
I've been there a decade. I was working not too far from Dr. Atia's clinic, in another clinic, Dr. Joseph Raffaele, another anti-aging longevity expert.
Yeah.
And I work with Dr. Comite, another brilliant. Actually, these people are in less than 3 or 4 blocks area in south, at the south of Central Park. But I was there at a high level of understanding of these clinics. I work also with orthopedic surgeons, with professional athletes. Great job. But I was actually on purpose stretching myself very thin, right? I was like working out with people at 5:30 in the morning and having my last client at 6:30 at night in Manhattan, going places, residential gyms, studios, whatever. I was lecturing, and I'm a devoted father, and I have my 7-year-old kid that the pandemic accelerated. We will change to Atlanta. I promised myself that I will go to Atlanta before he turns 5 to start making a deep impact in his memories and everything. And it was about time to not slow down, but reframe my life balance. So I came to Atlanta, but the work in New York opened the door for me with a great company, with Partner ND, and I was able to bring that concierge, that kind of like preventive, integrative, functional, whatever you want to call it, aspect to the practice, and they let me do actually my job quite comfortably.
Oh, that's awesome. For our viewers that are not familiar with Partner MD, share with them just that concept.
I love it.
People hear about concierge, but it's different in your mind, what
concierge
yeah,
is a good aspect of that, but also personalized medicine is
right.
another concept to keep in mind. So when you go to your regular primary care provider, to a hospital or a clinic,
Hmm.
they make sure that they test you fast or whatever, and they detect alterations of your, whatever the ranges of your blood test or your condition symptoms, and they try to come with a treatment to calm those symptoms and to get you more or less in balance, whatever it is. That's it. And then you need to go because you don't have time. It's 15
Hmm.
minutes, 15 minutes. The best doctors there, at the end, remember, try to eat healthy and move some more. But that's it, as they walk you out. Concierge, personalized medicine bring significantly more time of interaction with your doctors. Apparently, you have a direct access. You build a relationship. That is what every doctor wants. It's not that they don't want. They are not mistreating you in the hospital. They can't. Period. The model doesn't work. So in partnering, you build that relationship with your medical doctor. So the treatments and the understanding of your case is more personalized, and there's a strong bet on favor of integrative health and wellness. So instead of walking you out, say, remember to eat well or move more, wellness is included and absolutely linked with the doctor. So the doctor, the nurse, and the wellness coach team for you. You have a clinical
Yes.
team, and you have access to the wellness through the year unlimited. And people don't understand the value of that until they start realizing, well, you know that now, but if you try to do this on your own, you go to your primary care provider, he recommends you to go to a nutritionist, dietitian, or whatever, an exercise specialist, and you start going, and you find yourself with a clinical team that you are just stretched to think that they don't talk to each other, that they don't see it's just too much. Some people do it. So now you have in Partner ND a place where all is concentrated in one place.
Yeah.
And I work with if you have a golf trainer,
Yes.
tell me that. I say, okay, I'm open to email with them. I'm open to say, okay, I suggest this for your core explosive strength. And your
Hmm.
coach will get, hey, they're in my clinic, they suggest me this. Can you implement this? So it's kind of like be more like a family, like a team.
Yeah, that is powerful. I know, like you'll hear somebody win a major and they'll thank their team.
Exactly.
They say, "Hey, I want to thank my team," and sometimes they'll name a few, but I feel like you guys are my team.
Now we are.
Because I know when I see Dr. Sarma,
Mhm.
I mean, he'll say, "Well, I'll talk to Francisco, and we'll like this and that, and then you'll do the same." And it's kind of like that collaborative notion that I feel like I don't have to explain everything to each person individually. You guys are working on my behalf, and I love
one layer. One layer
Yes.
additional to this is like
Yeah.
we both, the wellness team, your medical doctor,
Yes.
we are going a little bit above and beyond on the traditional care.
Right.
So we actually believe in advanced testing. We believe in comprehensive approaches to health. We actually, to the level of our ability, we try to encourage everybody to not come to the clinic to treat your condition. You come to the clinic to try to reverse it.
Right.
When it's possible. And if it's not reversible, to try to stop it. And if it's not stoppable, to try to slow down the progression and try to strengthen other areas of your health that will conquer that. So it's really pushing your health span. We were talking about longevity.
Right.
Health span is your quality of life. We don't want you to, at some point, your quality of life almost stop and get into, very shitty, with my friend. And then in that point, live 20 more years. We want you to die young at an old age.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I love that. I love that. I mean, I feel such confidence knowing that, and I'm really good friends with my former primary care doctor. I even have a surgeon that I went twice for hernia. And I know when I was talking to her and I was telling her way back when that I was moving to Partner MD, she was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. However, she said, I mean, I got so many years with Wellstar that they couldn't do anything. She says, I can't. I mean, I got the pension, the years, So even though she's wonderful, she's kind of in a system that, like, I'm looking around the waiting room. There was 16 people in this waiting room, and I go over to see you guys. I've seen one person in there, one person. Like one time, it was one person. It's usually nobody. It's like, man, what's wrong with it? What's right with this picture? Is I'm not,
and we don't try to disrupt to the point of building walls with the medical system. We refer people to other specialists.
Yes,
for
exactly.
example, one thing that I pride myself of this, when someone come to see me and mention something about surgery. Oh, yeah, well, my shoulder, because I'm going to do surgery. So, hold on, you're going to do surgery. We try to maximize your physical health prior to the surgery, your tendons. And I learned this in New York quite well with those surgeons, sports surgeons. So you max out nutrition strategies, supplement strategies, protein intake, even accessory exercises or whatever. So by the time that somebody's going to cut on you, the tissue, the blood flow, everything is there. And the minute that they finish and they close, we put immediate action into recovery. Not just recovery, but optimize. We help you to sleep. We help you like all the blood flow supplements for connective tissue, collagen, protein, other vitamins that we know that intervene in that process. So it's important that every aspect of your life, you go on a vacation. I'm going to go to a vacation. I'm going to be a lot of walking. We can recommend you what shoes you should wear because of the biomechanics. We can help you practice certain things, strengthen certain muscles at the gym that has to do with climbing steps, you name it, right? You're going to carry a backpack. Okay, so we can train you with things like that.
Yeah, the confidence I have, I agree with everything you're saying. And it's so good for on my side of the fence to know that I have people that are on my team, let's say. And I'll just tell our viewers, I fell carrying my trash to the trash can and hit my ribs and knocked the wind out of me. And, all of a sudden for an hour or two, I was fine. And then it hit. I mean, I was like, holy mackerel, it was like I got hit with a freight train. And I called you and, you talked me through the thing like, hey, look, it's going to be rough tonight because you got to breathe. And you want to breathe because you don't want to not breathe. So, but it was like, hey, it doesn't matter whether you broke them or bruised them. It's going to be uncomfortable. So, beware that. And then you said something that was really profound. If all of a sudden you can't breathe, go to the emergency room. Like, don't hesitate. Don't fool around with that. Yeah. And so, I didn't sleep very much that night, but I was aware of the journey, and it took me about 3 weeks before, I was sleeping in the lazy boy chair because when I was flat, I couldn't sleep.
The ribs get
Yes, and so you had told me like it's good. I mean, it's good you're breathing, but your ribs are your ribs. So it's like you said, like if you break your arm, it's outside, so it's okay. They're going to put a cast around, but we can't put a cast.
Yeah, we're going to stop you from breathing.
Yes, it's like it's there, and it's just gonna. Yeah. You're just gonna have to suck it up and take some Tylenol. And it was really good on my part to understand.
And you know what is coming at you? Breathing, respiratory muscles recovery. I will give you ideas. You see, because intercostal muscles have to do with expanding your rib cage. Rib cage. So that's the type of thing. We're always thinking proactively onto not just recover health, optimize, protect, develop, improve, like this all day, every day.
Yeah, it was so cool because then Jonathan called me the next day and like, set up with get some x-rays. Well, I went to see the doctor, and he said, let's just go and have them. Then Jonathan's calling, I'm getting everything set up. It was like that true thing, like the team jumps in and the team just takes over, where I don't have to like, oh, well, what do I do next? It's like you guys knew what to do next, and you kind of access the system to make that happen. So that's really good. Now we have to be respectful of your time. So we want to allow you to, so we want to tell our viewers this. We're going to do an ongoing series with Francisco, so you can share with our viewers those specific strategies that'll help them extend
their golf career,
their quality of, so they have a better chance of shooting their age, because maybe you're not lucky enough to get a hole in one, but you can control how long you live.
The more you
to a certain extent,
the more chances. And to shoot a lot more, you need to shoot for many years.
Yes. And I mean, you're not a golfer like I am, but so many people will say, man, I shot my age. And it's like, that is almost the same as that hole in one. So here you're going to hear things as a golfer to increase your chances of shooting your age. And maybe you're not going to get it in your 30s or 40s, but the longer you live, the better chances are, if you are physically, mentally, and your body is equipped to be able to shoot that number. So Francisco, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me in LinkedIn with F. Carreño-Galvez or Dr. Carreño-Galvez. I don't remember that one. Dr. Carreño-Galvez on Instagram. I have my website, fcarreñogalvez.com. In Partner ND, if you put Francisco Carreño, Partner ND, you start.
Okay, we'll put in the show notes those links for our viewers, so it's easy for them to access you or Partner MD, for them to, have the best chances of shooting their age.
Exactly.
We look forward to having you come back on a regular basis to give our golfers tips on really how to.
Thank you for your time, for the opportunity.
Oh, it's good. I always give parting thoughts, like, to our guests. So one is, do you have anybody, two things. Do you have anybody you think would be a good guest for our podcast? That's number one. Number two is, leave our viewers with an insight that you can share with our viewers so they can, have better knowledge of whatever you want to share.
So a potential guest is people from the past that I met, like some of those Dr. Rafael or Dr. Jonathan Glasha or Dr. Comite in New York, or even I'm actually thinking of getting to connect with a network of clinics that they do some cryotherapy, like exposure to cold, things like that. So those would be people that I'm thinking.
That's awesome.
And an insight is like, even if you start by opening a book about medicine of the future, this Peter Attia book, or another book that I recommend frequently is Glucose Revolution, is going to give you another good idea of not spiking sugar. So those are, even if that is the first step, just do that. It will change already your outcome, because now you are reading something that is aligned with what you want.
Awesome. That's good. I love it. And I look forward to more.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yes, exactly. A good journey. Tips. We'll put some links for the books that you just recommended in the show notes, so our viewers can access them, and get the knowledge through what you recommend, easy.
Perfect.
Right. Thank you, Francisco. I appreciate you taking the time, and have a wonderful day. And we thank our viewers for tuning in. We'll be back in touch with you with more strategies on how to shoot your age.
Take care.